In your talk, you said that a simple trek in the bush that you were assigned to observe for a mission for a few days became to be one of your greatest teachers in life. Could you talk a bit about that here? What did you start to notice in nature that you didn't notice before?
Yeah, the point I was trying to get across in that particular talk was that because I found myself in a situation, it was basically a patrol that I was doing, an observation task on a track waiting for enemy soldiers. But like I said before, 99.99% of the time in those roles, you're doing nothing. There's not the big gun battle that you see on Hollywood movies. So you get a lot of time just sitting there, bored out of your absolute mind. And you've got a couple of choices in terms of being able to cope with that. You either start thinking or reflecting, or you just sit there just going in slowly but deliberately insane because you're just bored. So for me, it became sort of one of those aha moments where I started to look deeply at everything around me and then realize that because we were sitting there so still, so quiet for so long, that I actually wasn't just in there like an observer. I was actually in there as part of the ecosystem. Now, when we first arrived, yeah, sure, you've disrupted the existing baseline of natural and normal behaviour in that space. And then you sit there for a day, dead still pretty much, and everything's gone like, oh, well, there's a new kind of log over there, and it just absorbs you. And then you see things that you'd never normally see, because when we normally walk through the forest as a human, we're quite noisy. And everything kind of gets out of our way because there's this train coming through the forest. And it goes, whoa, that's dangerous, let's get out of the way. So you don't see as much as you'd see when you're sitting dead still. So everything literally comes back. And at first it's curious. It just wants to say, oh, what was that? What was that big disturbance that came through? And it came through here. Oh, look, there's some extra rocks and logs in here. And it just starts moving in and around you, flowing in and around you. And you, at some point, or for me at least, at some point I just realised that, wow, there's much more to this place than I just thought. It wasn't just sticks, rocks, trees, earth, and a few birds. It's actually, there's this life everywhere. And that became one of those aha moments for me in terms of, wow, there's so much more to be seen if I can just sit still long enough to be accepted by it, and it will show itself to me. And that's the main thrust of what that TEDx talk was all about in terms of, and then that obviously has some positives in terms of, you're not thinking so much about the next hot date you're going to go on. You're thinking about the here and now, which is becoming more and more rare in our very, very busy world.
Absolutely.